BS Talk 2019. I'm Aisha Wallace Riley. You are here in Relaxations Grooming Bar with BS Talks. Welcome back, Miss Delia Wallace. She's been missing in action for our New Year's Eve episode, but she is back with us. Say hello to everybody, Delia.
Hey everybody, I'm back.
We got a great show for you today. We got a special guest. His name is Jamel. Great singer and everything. We got a lot of hot topics that we're coming back with to tell you all about. And so we're about ready to get started. You ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's take it over. Here we go. Okay, so what we got going on?
Well, I thought we'd start off with some hot topics, stuff that's been going on in the media. A lot of people talking about the R. Kelly documentary. It was a 6-part series on Lifetime that aired over a 3-day span, and just kind of talking about R. Kelly from the beginning of like his first encounters with Aaliyah, all the way up until recently with the allegations of him running a sex cult in Atlanta. Got a lot of women staying in his mansion. He's saying that they're there willingly, but a lot of people are saying that they're against their will. So I don't know. Wait, did you watch the documentary?
No, I chose not to watch the documentary. And the reason because, I remember back when the story first came out about him and Aaliyah being married, and then the incident with the other young lady where
Did you think it was real that day?
I did. Because at the time she was young, even when she was recording with him. Mm-hmm. And so I never was a big R. Kelly fan from the very beginning. A lot of people was like, oh, you just didn't like him because of what you heard about Aaliyah. No, I didn't like R. Kelly when he first did an interview with I always have a brain fart every time I'm on the show. When he did an interview way back when with Donnie Simpson from BET. And during that interview, R&B singers, they used to dress up, they had a nice little, smooth swag about themselves. And his thing was, oh, I'm bringing, what he said, I'm bringing thugness to R&B. And, that's when the R&B singers stopped dressing up or whatever. And back then, I just didn't like that. So I really wasn't that big of a fan of his. So when things started, coming out and it was a pattern, it was the thing with Aaliyah. Then that, blew over for some people. And then it came out, the videotape with him urinating on a young lady and, the court trial and how he had his attorneys hold that off for so long and everything before they finally went and then nobody testified. I just thought that was just crazy in itself because anybody who has been accused of sleeping with young girls, they automatically, the state will continue to follow the trial. Not even a way, they wouldn't even allow, the average person to do what he was able to do. Right. So I just, I didn't want to watch. For me, watching that all over again would be like as if I feel like you reliving that moment. And I just was so disgusted back then. I just didn't want to go through that with watching it and everything because what they revealed was what we knew back then. And he should have been, arrested or whatever. So, and then they still hadn't arrested him yet. I just, I hate to see another black man go to jail. But if you out there and you're molesting these young girls, and then, you deserve to go to jail.
Yeah, I agree. I think the whole point of the documentary was because I think back then when the whole situation, like the sex tape scandal came out, I think at that time only one of the girls testified against him. So I think the documentary kind of helped all the other women who came in contact with R. Kelly and who experienced things, helped them to come out and tell their story, and also to a lot of the younger generation, my age and maybe a little bit younger, who was too young when all of that stuff. Because I've always heard about the rumors with him and Aaliyah and like the sex tape and stuff, but I was too young to really fully understand it at that time. Mm-hmm. So I think it kind of brought light to a whole new audience of what's been going on over the years. And even after, you know, the documentary aired, I think his streams went up like 16% or something. And I know Jada Pinkett, she went onto Instagram and she was posing a question like, why did his sales go up? And I think part of it was because, you know, he still has those diehard loyal fans who don't believe any of it, and they're going to always have R. Kelly's back. And I think a lot of the reason why the streams went up too was because for things that they pointed out in the documentary, as far as like the songs and things, it was kind of like he was telling you the stuff that he was doing within his songs, just nobody realized it back then. So I think a lot of people went back to actually play those songs because they're like, oh, like I didn't realize he was saying that in this song, or I didn't realize, you know, that's what he was talking about. So I think that's part of the reason why his sales went up. But I don't know. I feel like he needs to be arrested, but at the same time, it's not really anything that can be done right now because, I mean, he got off for the case with the sex tape. Like, I mean, the girl and her parents testified and said that it wasn't her on the tape, and then he testified and said it wasn't him. He said it was his brother. So he got off of that.
And that's sad. He put his brother under the bus.
Yeah. And it's like currently now, I mean, I guess he's holding girls against their will or whatever the case may be, but these are adults now, so it's really not much you can do about it. So, I mean, it's sad to say, but probably nothing probably will happen to him.
You know, for me, the whole situation is just really sad, and I'm an upbeat, cheery person, so I want to hurry and get past this. But I feel like this. Women, young ladies, know your worth. First of all, love yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to know your worth. And I just feel like if you are with someone and they're trying to keep you from your family, they don't mean you any good, because why would they want to keep you away from your complete support team and people you love? So when they can strip you from people you love, they can now control you because they're now telling you, they can now degrade who you are, and you don't have anybody around you to say, that's not so, don't let that person talk to you that way, or don't let that person treat you that way. If you're with somebody and you can't go out in public with them, you can't be seen with them, you can't do anything with them, that is not your man. You don't want, no, you are not, if you won't allow your parents or anybody in your family to hold you as a prisoner, as we all know, as young kids or whatever, we always want to get out. And every time when we're told we couldn't go nowhere, we always say, what's that? Why? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? So why would you let some man hold you hostage and capture? You know, I mean, it's horrible, and I'm over it. And I just hope that the police eventually come together, they prosecute him and put him under the jail, because that's what he deserves. He deserves, because he has ruined a whole lot of people's lives in that. So with that being said, I'm done.
And I mean, just to I guess to piggyback off of what you said, you know, I definitely agree, and I also think for people, I saw a lot of comments like, well, why are these ladies just now coming out if this stuff happened to them like 20 years ago? You know, sometimes it takes for someone else to come out, you know, for people to feel like, okay, this happened to you, okay, now I can speak on it as well. Because you got to think about it. R. Kelly, I mean, he is someone that is in the music industry, and his name holds a lot of weight. So a lot of these females were, you know, maybe in fear of their life, or they didn't know how they would be treated. And even after the documentary, a lot of women are saying they're receiving death threats and things of that sort. So I don't know. I just want to encourage females out there to speak up and, you know, tell your story. Don't be ashamed or afraid of what other people would think. So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel on that.
Know your worth, love yourself, like I do, and I taught my daughters to do. Love yourself, know your worth, and you'll love, and look, listen to your parents. They're not always wrong. I know everything. So Let's go to the next.
So, moving on to a situation with Chris Brown. He's been in the news recently. A situation that happened with him in Paris, where a young lady, 24-year-old young lady, is accusing him of rape. I don't have the young lady's name, but she claimed she met Chris Brown in a nightclub. He invited her back to his hotel room, and that's allegedly that's where the rape took place. And I don't know. I don't want to say I don't believe her. I think for me it's hard for me to believe, only because I feel like Chris Brown is an easy target, based on things that he's already went through in his past. And I don't know. I feel like this isn't the first time something similar has happened where a woman has accused him of something and it wasn't true. I think at this point, sometimes people just want what they call clout, and they're going about it the wrong way, honestly. So, how do you feel about it?
I feel like this. Chris Brown is I like him. I didn't like all the stuff that went down with Rihanna and everything, but nevertheless, I think ever since he's became a father, he has been so fond of that little girl till you really haven't heard any more bad things about him in the news media. You may have heard, stuff with him and his child's mom, with, I think with child support or something like that or whatever. But he has really, I think, changed his whole character about himself. I remember it was about a couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, where it was this young lady. She was a Caucasian girl, and she was at his house, and she wanted something. I'm not exactly sure of everything. It was a while ago, and he asked her to leave, and she, thank God, somebody caught her on tape saying that she was going to say that he raped her or he did something to her to try to get money, extort money out of him. And so here again, I'm with Delia. I don't want to say that this did not happen to this particular young lady. I would hope it did not, and we just kind of gotta watch and see. But from what I've known or what we've seen, ever since he's had that child, I think he's kind of been clean, with staying far from trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I definitely agree. Let's hope it's not true. And hopefully, Chris Brown can get out of this situation. Because that's a really serious allegation. So hopefully, he's able to prove his part and be done with the situation.
Yeah, because I think Chris Brown is on the right track, and I would love to see him, be able to stay in his daughter's life. And I'm tired of seeing black men go to jail. So,
I agree.
But R. Kelly needs to be there. Okay.
Okay, so next topic, we're talking about Cyntoia Brown. So this, she was granted clemency.
Thank God.
After she was sentenced to, if anybody doesn't know about Cyntoia Brown, she was a young lady who was sentenced to life in prison at the age of 16. I believe this case happened in Tennessee. She was sentenced to life in prison for for murdering Michael Allen. He was a 43-year-old. He was actually soliciting Cyntoia Brown for sex, because she was a teen prostitute or teen. She was part of sex trafficking, and Cyntoia Brown's story is she felt like her life was in danger, so she shot Michael Allen, but the prosecutors argued that she shot him because she was trying to rob him. So they ended up giving her life in prison. And then she served 15 years, and they came back and said, well, we'll grant her clemency after she serves 50 years. And then I would say I think a month after that they came back and they finally granted her clemency. So she will be released from prison on August 9th of this year, which I was happy to hear about that because I actually was following. Well, first heard about her story. I believe it was like 2 years ago. Kim Kardashian was she had and a few other celebrities basically was posting and was trying to get a petition to actually get her released from jail. This was like 2 years ago. So when I heard about that, I read into her story a little more, and there's also a documentary on her story at the time when she was 16, going through her whole trial. And there was a psychologist working with her the whole time and like kind of studying her, and he even argued to the courts that with her circumstances, because she didn't grow up in the best environment, in the best situation. She was on drugs at a very young age, and even her mother was on drugs, and just a lot of unfortunate things that was happening to her. And he even tried to argue to the courts that her mind isn't the same, as in also trying to try her as an adult would be too harsh of a sentence for someone who's 16 years old. But they did it anyway. So I mean, it's unfortunate she had to serve 15 years, but it's a good thing that she doesn't have to serve 50 years or even life in prison. So
right,
I was very happy about that.
Right, because I know when you was telling me about the story, I know for Delia, this has been very passionate for her about this young lady. She brought this to my attention a couple of years ago, and I think it's sad. My thing is, if you're granting her clemency, why is she not being released today? Why does she have to wait until August before she's actually released? I think that's a little crazy. But the good thing is she is going to get out, and it's sad that sex trafficking has become this big business for people. I don't understand. I think North Carolina is high up there for sex trafficking. One of the cities, one of the states with one of the highest levels of sex trafficking. So please, people, be mindful of your children, your daughters, where they're at, and things of that nature. I mean, I tell people I don't know why anybody want to kidnap or take anybody, because you got to feed them. And it's just sad. I don't understand what's wrong with people today in time, but please, everybody just be mindful of where your loved ones are at all times and everything. Right. Believe me, I have two daughters, Delia and Michaela, and I keep up with them everywhere they go. So if something happened within 10 minutes of it, I will know. Right. Okay? Because I'm that mama. And then I want y'all to know, look at me, I'm Courtesy. I will come for you. Okay? So speaking of crazy, we're going to go into this dumb Donald with this shutdown. I'm so glad it's over with, and I'm so glad Nancy Pelosi stuck to her guns, and as he like to say, chucking Nancy. I'm so glad they showed him, because for him to hold, the American people hostage,
35 days.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Talk about he not, going to let them get paid or whatever, because he wants some daggone wall built in the borders of Mexico and all this. Let me tell you, this is a crazy thing. You know who's going to build the wall. You want to stop the Mexicans from coming over to the United States. Well, guess who you think going to build the wall? The Mexicans. Because he's going to have them come over here. They're going to employ them. And then they're going to be the ones that's going to build the walls. Because guess what? And you put any other race of people, black and white folks out there, they're going to get they full hours. They're going to need to take their lunch breaks. They need to take their little 15-minute breaks in between. And you're going to have to give them sick days. And if it's real hot, I'm getting sick, and I'm calling out. I'm not coming to work every day. I need all my medical and dental and this and that. And so the only people who gonna go and build that wall for you and get it built in the time you want it to is, guess what? A bunch of Mexicans. So what you got to say about that?
I mean, yeah, I'm glad that he finally came to his senses. That they're saying it's temporary. But yeah, I just think it's very selfish of him to, you know, to not consider working people who's going to work every day, and they're pretty much working for free because they can't get paid because of the government shutdown. I honestly feel like, you know, if the American people can't get paid because of the shutdown, then you shouldn't get paid either. Like that's
and they gave themselves a $10,000 raise. Honestly. And they gave themselves a $10,000 raise during the shutdown.
Yeah, that's just really selfish, and it's ridiculous. All because of a wall, something that's not even necessary, something that's going to, you know, take too much money to build, and it's not even going to be effective. It's not just Mexicans who are immigrants; it's people all over the world who are coming over here illegally. So I just think it's.
Donald Trump should have been on that song when the guy was saying "wham wham wham, I'm a baby," because that's Donald Trump. But this should conclude our gossip for today. This is again BS Talks. We are coming in with the new year 2019. Hey, then we had to bring you all this sad gossip. We're gonna get some good stuff later. And but we got a great entertainer coming up for you. I can't wait to sit and talk with this brother. Again, and Jamal and Jamel, excuse me. And we're gonna have a great time. And we're gonna lift it up, and we're gonna all smile and laugh. Now we brought y'all too much sadness. So we'll be back. And we're back. BS Talks 2019. I'm your host, Aisha Wallace Raleigh. My co-host, Delia Wallace, and we are here with Jamel. Jamel, tell us about yourself.
Well, singer from New York, by the way, Charlotte.
Okay.
Born in Hawaii, had a chance to live and travel all over the world, so I guess you could say I'm pretty cultured.
How you got the opportunity to travel around the world?
My father was military, so he was 20 years in the army. Like Uncle Sam, died all over from Missouri to Georgia to Germany, Belgium, been everywhere.
So he has since retired, right?
Yes.
I know he is so happy not to be under Donald Trump.
That's
oh
right.
My God. Woo! Thank you for serving, Daddy. But I know you glad you ain't under this dingbat. Okay. But so you are an R&B singer, but you didn't start off in R&B.
No, I did not. I started off in my father's church. And, like a lot of R&B artists singing gospel music. Church, I was the choir director and drummer. I was wrote songs for them. I did everything.
Okay.
So what made you switch over rather than being a gospel artist? What made you switch over to R&B?
You know what? Well, so growing up in my house, we always had R&B.
Okay.
It was actually everything was playing. Shirley Caesar, Jonathan Keith, to Stevie, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Voice to Man, it was everything.
You were exposed to a little bit everything.
So growing up, you just have an opportunity to hear different music, experience different music. I just love R&B. I love the feel. But they also had like gospel, soul, foundation. So it wasn't too much of a transition.
Right. And that's why too, when you hear gospel singers or rappers, they don't sound bad because it's the music all goes together. It's like, it's like you said, that's the root for a lot of R&B singers and stuff. Exactly. So you heard me talk about R. Kelly's start in the beginning with when he was on this thing with Donnie Simpson
Yeah.
and everything. And so, do you, how can I say, consider yourself that your music is so smooth.
Mhm.
I love it. I do. And I just don't see no thug in you. But your music is so smooth. Where do you get your sound from?
My sound definitely take influences from that.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that spends 10 minutes with me, you'll probably hear me listening to country,
Mm-hmm.
to R&B, to soul, to gospel. So I'm pulling influences a little bit from everywhere. Just kind of mixing it up and having something that's unique to teach them.
That's good. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, because you listening to you sound like an older artist. It really comes out as if you've been out there a real long time. I know you've been out there, but it really has a matureness to it, and stuff, and it sounds really good.
Well, I appreciate it. I've had a lot of experience. From first album I was ever on, I was 18.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was some years ago. I was recording my own music at 16. So I've been in the studio and professional recording for a long time. So I've had a chance to kind of develop a little bit of that sound. It doesn't come overnight. You try to play different things until you find something that you feel like is your voice and your sound. A lot of times, what's going on today in music is such a carbon copy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to give it a submission.
Right. Go ahead.
So who are some of your inspirations?
Oh man. So one of my biggest music, which surprised me to a lot of people, is John B.
Okay.
Love
Mhm.
John. I grew up, my dad was everywhere. John B. everywhere.
Right.
Just like him, Prince and Michael and the Isaacs,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Charlie Wilson, yeah, man. It was just everybody that had this, put their own stamp on it. I just was impressed with everybody.
Right. I was thinking about when you would say how everybody sound like everybody. And I was so glad when that little era was over with everybody trying to look and sound like Beyonce. I was like, oh my God! Every magazine you open up, they had everybody trying to look like her, and I was just like, really? My thing is, they're all different artists. So why are you trying to make everybody sound the exact same and everything? I want to buy somebody's music that sounds totally different from that person or totally different from that person and stuff. I don't want to hear somebody who sounds like the same person and everything. If that's the case, I'm a ventriloquist and just mimic their voice and everything. So it's good when I can put your CD in, or not CD no more. What is it?
Like streaming.
Not streaming, but I can stream it and everything. I'm telling my age, but I didn't say 8-track. But I can put it in, and I can just listen to it from beginning to end. Because you got so many people, artists now, who music and they famous, who you put it in and you listen to this song good, and then you have to skip a couple of songs and then get to this song. You be like, oh, okay, this song good. It's very seldom nowadays that you can listen from somebody's, song from the whole album from beginning to end and everything. And that's what I found I was able to do with your music. And it sounded really good and stuff. So I can't wait to hear more from you. And you definitely gonna do something for me today.
I am. Absolutely.
But I can't wait. You got any more questions?
Well, I did have one more question. So, as far as your inspiration, I heard you list a lot of like the older artists. So, with that being said, it came out with Jacquees. He was saying, he's the king of R&B for this generation. So, how do you feel about today's R&B, like the generation R&B. Because to me, I feel like a lot of the new artists, I'm not gonna say everybody, but some of the new artists, I feel like they have more of a hip hop kind of cadence to them rather than more of R&B. So I just want to get your opinion on it.
You know, R&B to me is supposed to invoke emotion. So when you are in that creative space, you want to evoke a certain emotion, whether it's joy or sadness, heartbreak, just right, whatever it is. And that's what I think R&B has always been. So you go back to like the '90s, like Joe, and early 2000s, Case, and Drew Hill. You know, you just name
New Edition, and
Jagged Edge, 112, all that stuff. You know, Johnny, you would hear and you would feel an emotion that you could relate to. I think one of the problems in R&B today, like you said, is that there's so much of this trying to cross over into this hip hop realm,
Right.
Because hip hop now is,
big.
you know, it's so big, and so a lot of these guys would kind of want to stay relevant and they want to kind of get in that hip hop lane. But I think if you stay true to who you are as an artist, you know, the people will recognize it. Because anytime you try to start mimicking other people, you know, one of the things I tell people is that the artists that have the most longevity are the ones that are have a unique sound.
Right.
So if you listen to, you can put on the John Legend record, you know that voice from here. And you can put on Michael Jackson, you know that sound, you know those things. And so some of those artists that people say sound like everybody else kind of get lost in the sauce. You know, you don't have that longevity in your career. So that's one of the things I'm hoping for, is that when people hear my music, they know who that is distinct from everybody else.
Exactly. And I like when you were saying, like with the R&B, like back in the night, people sung about love. You know, they sung about relationships, and that's something that they got so far removed from. How do you sing an R&B song and you are dogging out women, or you know, everything is somebody did you so wrong? You know, and now it's that one song. I have my daughter laughing all the time, where he just whining, and the guy whining in the song about how the girl just did him so wrong, and now he want to kill himself. I said, when they started doing that in R&B? But nevertheless, your music it has a nice little smooth swag to it, and it's about love and it good feeling. It feels good, and I love it. I
wanted to give something to the people that people just feel good about.
There you go. That's what we, and that's what people need nowadays. They need love. All this, you know, people got too much. Write a song for Donald Trump, so he can help spread some love around the world. That's all we need. All we need is love. Okay, that's it. I'll say. So, but there we go. So I'm ready to hear from you. You ready to hear from you? There we go. So coming back, we got Jamel coming up, and you are watching BS Talks, Barbers and Stylists. There we go.
Do every little thing that you want to do. You have to over, let me give you something new. When you roll with me, promise you'll never lose. Can you? Girl, I know that you've been waiting for some time. And tonight I only want to make you mine. Girl, I can't wait to get you home alone. So no distraction, leave your phone alone. I'm so addicted, can't leave you alone. So please be seated, make my face your home. Oh, let me go have all the baby. Make you my number one, you can be my baby. Give you everything you desire, let me get you higher. Can you show and prove? We can do any little thing that you wanna do. Can you have your over, let me give you something new. When you roll with me, promise you'll never lose. Can you show and prove? Can you show and prove? We can do any little thing that you wanna do. Can you have your over, let me give you something new. You're my drug, baby, you're my weakness. And hit my line, let me know you're with it. Anything you want, baby, you can get it. Girl, if I tell you right, you call it a plumber, you know I that pipe. And you gon' be saying my name by the end of the night. Yeah, you gon' be saying my name by the end of the night. By the end of the night, I'm trying to give you all the love you say you need. Get it back to back like we got it on repeat. So don't be shy, baby, be my little freak. And bring that little pretty thing to me. And baby, go have fun, baby. You my number one, you can be my main thing. Give you everything you desire. Let me get you higher. Can you show and prove? We can do any little thing that you wanna do. Cause you have to open, let me give you something new. When you roll with me, promise you'll never lose. Can you show and prove? Can you show and prove? We can do any little thing that you wanna do. When you have to open, let me give you something new. When you roll with me, promise you'll never lose. Can you show and prove? Can you show and prove? Can you show and prove? Baby, can you show and prove? 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 Yeah, yeah. Can you show and prove? Can you show and prove? Baby, can you show and prove? 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 Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Every time I'm not with you, girl, you stay on my mind. Got me feeling for your loving, wishing we had one more time. You don't ever have to doubt the things I'm saying, just know that it's real. Oh, girl, you know that well. Baby, don't be shy, relax, sit back, get comfortable. You don't have to hide the way you're feeling. Let me be the one to hold you down. So baby, come around. You got everything I need. These other girls around, but you are all I see. Do anything I can to make you mine. Open up the stars and light, yeah. Baby, take a ride with me, girl. I wanna put you on, and you know
music?
You can find my music on all streaming platform services: iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, Google Play. Wherever you download music, you can find it. Also, go on theeddieawards.com. That's theeddieawards.com. I was nominated for a National Music Award. So I'll be performing live on the Red Carpet Pre-Show. That's February 23rd. Labor Day weekend, Ridgewood Blues. We'll be putting on a cruise. So WeTravelingGroups.com, Soul Station Cruise.
Okay.
Myself, King, and some other great artists here in Charlotte will be heading to the Bahamas for 3 days.
All right.
Did we get back tickets?
Works out now.
So there we go. You got where you can find Jamel's music and everything. Definitely tune in. No, did you say iCloud? iTunes. So see, again, telling my